and since then first we started in Wollongong, then 2000 we started that City Business School in Sydney campus. We got a range of programs. MBA is our premier program, and we will talk about those things later on when we come to our stall. And apart from that, we have a Master of Logistics, Master of Retail Management, Master of International Business. We will talk about those things when we come to our stall. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much. Allwin, as I said, attended the Wharton School. Now, quite frankly, we're all kind of jealous. It's the #1 ranked MBA school in the world, and it has been for, well, it's been in the top 3 for the last 10 years. It is an excellent school, and he can tell you a little bit about what sets the Wharton School apart from the other pretenders.
Hi, I'm Allwin. I started this site called Daheria.com, which is right now India's largest MBA portal. I started this in early 2002. Somewhere around 2006, I decided I wanted to do an MBA. Wharton happened. I came back, finished my MBA, came back in 2008, and I'm back in India. Along with quite a few of my friends, and life is good. So while I'm going to be here, I would like to chat with you, most of you, about my experience at the Wharton School, what separates Wharton School from the rest of the schools. I don't know about the rest of the schools because I've never really attended, but I can talk to you much more about my experience, what it took me to get to those schools, and if I could answer any of your queries, I'd absolutely love to over this entire evening. So I just hope to catch up with you individually, over the next couple of hours. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. And as I said, I represent the Rotman School in Canada. We have a 2-year program. This year, 24% of our incoming class was from India, or at least from Indian origin. So very popular with Indian students. One of the things that attracts Indian students to Canada, and international students as well, 45% of our student body is composed of international students, is the immigration policy, the Canadian immigration policy, which allows students upon graduation to stay and work in Canada for up to 3 years. That is obviously a tremendous advantage. I can say where Ellen has decided to come back to India, most of our students choose to stay in Canada at least for that 3 years to get some experience to bring back to India. So I'll have an opportunity, I'll talk a bit more about our program, but I want to give everybody an opportunity here. So we have some questions I think are sort of general interest questions that I'm going to ask Ewout to start with perhaps, as to what should students look for, what should candidates look for in a particular business school? Sure.
Yeah. So regarding, you're talking about specific our business school or in general?
Well, in general, I think, but specific to your school as well.
Well, obviously, regarding the decision to do an MBA, that's a decision you've been thinking about, I think, a longer time, and there's already a question which shows the background of you. An MBA, I think, is a great stepping stone, not only to go further in your career, but also to diversify, and for instance, if you're an engineer, to be more commercial savvy, so to understand more marketing and sales strategies, and to understand in general all the business principles. So from that point of view, it's a great way to go more from a specialism, being in IT, being in engineering, to a more generalistic approach, and to make that step to in your career to more direction than general management. What people look in our school is leadership. At least we are looking for the potential, and we are looking for people who are interested in leadership. We call it transnational leadership, because we really again want this diversity. We don't want a majority from one country. We really like this diversity in our class, and we're looking for people who understand what it is to do business in several countries. We call it global, which is global and local. We want people to understand the global principles. What are the latest management theories? What are the gurus, what are the developments in there. But we also want people to understand that every country is different and that you make local decisions. And local decisions also depends on the cultural, ethical, social, political, environmental dilemma. So we really also go deep and make people understand with examples that a decision in India is a different one than a decision in the US, just to give you an example. So again, we are looking for those transnational leaders, we're looking for people with potential, and we want to develop.
Bhupesh? What should students look for, and how does your school satisfy those needs?
Candidates. Typically, we see whether we can really satisfy a candidate or not in terms of his career path, right? And we also see whether this candidate has got a realistic expectation or not. If, for example, some candidate is drawing 5 lakh and he comes to me and he says, okay, I want to draw, say, 20 lakh rupees. Will your school is going to offer that kind of package? We immediately reject those kind of candidates. Because in this kind of market, you can't have unrealistic expectations. So we primarily see how realistic expectation that candidate is having, whether we can really train that guy or not, because a lot of candidates, they carry good GMAT score, they are highly intelligent, but they are too arrogant and you can't teach them. So these are some few parameters we look when we select a candidate.
Good. Thank you very much. Nelson, you've been involved in the MBA world for quite some time. What do you think candidates should look for in a school?
I think that most of the candidates, sometimes when they select MBA, they have no idea why they want to do MBA. And when local students comes to me and say that they want to do MBA, I ask the question, why do you want to do MBA? And still they don't have any idea of why it is. So I ask them, in that case, think about you in 5 years' time, where you are going to be, position yourself. And then ask the question, I'm going to spend this amount of money and time, that is very important, and sacrifice two years of your life and reading books and doing all these assignments. And that's why I always advise them to select carefully, not just because that your friends are there, just because the cost is cheap, and just because of other factors. And more importantly, you need to ask the question, where this academic staff of that particular business school is coming from, whether you have academic staff blended coming from industry experience or pure academic sets. And where is their research, and what sort of areas that they have specialized, where they have published. So those are the things that I think that most of you think about it when you select a business school.
Okay, thank you. You asked an interesting question. Why do you want to do an MBA? I think I'd ask another question. Why did you want to do an engineering degree? Obviously you didn't like it, you want to change. The most beneficial degree, combined with an engineering degree, is the MBA. And that's going to take you into management. Now, I would say most of you, it's an engineering degree, you're probably working in operations. And you want to move into management. To do that, you need something extra. And that's what the MBA provides. Whether it's in Hungary, whether it's in Australia, whether it's in the US, or right here in India.